Guys, we need to learn to love people the way they want to be loved.
That's so hard, though.
Like,
That's hard.
it's
That's hard for both of us.
You know
I
what?
think we have.
It's
that's
not
the
hard. It's selfish.
It is, but
It's
by
selfish to
nature,
not
are we
do
not
that.
selfish?
Yes, but when you get into a relationship, what you're giving away is yourself. You're giving your selfishness away.
Yeah.
And so to continue to feel like you can love someone the way you would like to be loved is selfish. It's extremely selfish. And I think
Welcome back. It's a new day. We thank the good Lord. It's a new day. Thank God it's a new day. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. It's me, WJ, on our channel, One Life, Many Seasons. Well, we're talking love and relationships now. And those that know me, and as you might have seen or may have seen in some prior videos, I've talked about some things about relationship. I love love. I love successful relationships. If it's not working, what can we do to make it work? Came across this video. I don't know this people, but I think it's quite an interesting video. I think her name is Mpoomy, and the guy's name is Brenden. There are a couple. I still don't know so much about them, but I came across this video and I just was fascinated. So we're just going to go through it. I'm going to react to it. Please put your comments below, whatever you think that they say, however it makes you feel. Let's start the discussion. So I'm just going to roll it. Okay, let's go.
I think that's our life journey.
Yeah.
This is let alone
This is our love journey.
Forget our love journey. This is our life journey.
Yeah.
Is to love people the way they truly desire to be loved. Because if you think about it, that's what God does for us.
Yep.
I'm just
that's why the Bible says
a little bit, because I think there's something they said before that I wanted to touch on as well too. Talked about loving someone the way they need to be loved, and I think the lady says no, that's not possible. It's difficult, and I do get it. It is difficult, but he went ahead and said that's because we're selfish as humans, and that is so true. Let's just listen to that part again.
When you get into a relationship, what you're giving away is yourself. You're giving your selfishness away.
Yeah.
And so to continue to feel like you can love someone the way you would like to be loved is selfish. It's extremely selfish. And I think that's our life journey.
Yeah.
This is let alone
This is our love journey.
Forget our love journey. This is our life journey.
Yeah.
Is to love people the way they truly desire to be loved. Because if you think about it, that's what God does for us.
Yep.
I don't know if you caught that. And just correct me if I'm wrong. What I heard, and I think from what Brenden was saying, is we don't want to love people the way we think they should be loved. We need to love them the way they need to be loved. And that's where the challenge is. We don't want to love them the way we think they should be loved. We want to love them the way they need to be loved. Good point. Hard to do. But that's the secret.
That's why the Bible says you what does it say? These verses. They always go away when you did. No. It says you create your own salvation.
Oh, work out your own salvation.
Yeah, so you work out your own salvation. And I think what that means is to say you work out something that's very particular to you.
Yes.
And so God starts to guide you in your journey with him in a way that's just for the two of you. That is a way that you can relate to. He talks to you in a way that you can hear him. And so it's the same thing. And so we call to love the way God loves us. You think about it and it's like that's how you gotta love your partner.
Yeah.
Love them in a way that is true to them, in a way that they can receive it.
100%.
Doesn't help if you give something away and someone does not have the capacity to receive it because it's not packaged for them.
I will admit it. I think it's really hard. It's a lot of unlearning because our natural instinct is to want to say, hey, I would like a cup of coffee in the morning. So here, I think you'd like it too.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. And I've used this analogy. I think I actually learned this from my wife, actually. So use this analogy where My favorite ice cream is the vanilla ice cream. I don't want any sprinkles on it. I don't want any caramel on it. I don't want anything in it. Just plain old vanilla ice cream. You got me. Should I have said that on here? Anyway, I like vanilla ice cream. I'm going to use, let's say a guy now, John, who likes vanilla ice cream, and his lady, Stacy, decides to go travel 3 hours, and she likes chocolate ice cream. She decides to go 3 hours, for whatever she was on, a trip. On her way back, picks up a nice, lovely chocolate ice cream for the husband. She comes back and presents that to the husband, John, and John is not really receiving that. He's not quite happy. He's not showing any type of appreciation, which he should have, and still go ahead and probably explain why he's feeling the way he's feeling. That's a topic for another day, but just kind of throwing a little, curve, a little analogy on what Brenden and Mpoomy are just talking about, loving someone the way they need to be loved, not the way we want to love them. She used the example of the coffee. I'm using the example of the vanilla ice cream. He likes vanilla ice cream. She knows that's his favorite. She goes and gets chocolate ice cream and then says, oh, well, I drove 3 hours to go get the chocolate ice cream. You should love it just for that reason. In my opinion, you know what he likes. Just do that. Do more of what they love and do less of what they don't like. Do more of what each other likes and do less of what each other do not like. That's my understanding of that. Hey, let me know if that makes sense. Let's keep watching.
What makes it that's so true. What makes it even harder when you are married or in a relationship is that people continue to change.
Yep.
So as you figuring
continue to
people
evolve.
out, they
like-
figuring themselves out.
And then they changed. It's like, but last week you
So
were this
yeah, so
person.
maybe last year I wanted this thing, but
Yeah.
this year I've been reading books now. I've changed. I've got a
True.
deeper relationship with God. I've found myself,
Yeah.
and now I'm more into this.
Yeah.
And it's like you constantly, and that's where communication comes in.
I think of relationships that have ended, whether romantic or friendship. And the reason, in most cases, we think relationships end because someone was rude or someone did this. But in most cases, relationships end because we no longer growing together.
Yeah.
Now, growing together does not necessarily mean we grow in the same way or we grow in the same things. But it's so necessary in relationships for all of us to continue growing. Because if I'm growing and you're not growing, then there's a gap, there's a problem, or the other way around. So what you're saying about the gifting is that the reason why we can keep up satisfying each other's needs is because we all continually growing. And while we're continually growing, you're aware of the other person's growth.
Just going to rewind that a little bit. She said a whole bunch of stuff. I couldn't really stop it because it was so good and so important what she was saying. So I'm just going to play back here.
Or in a relationship is that people continue to change.
Yep.
So as you figuring people out, they
like-
figuring themselves out.
And then they changed. It's like, but last week you
So
were this
yeah,
person.
so maybe last year I wanted this thing, but
Yeah.
this year I've been reading books now. I've changed. I've got a deeper relationship with God. I've
books.
found myself.
Yeah. Very
And
knowledgeable.
now I'm more into this.
Yeah.
And it's like you constantly, and that's where communication comes in.
I think of relationships that have ended, whether romantic or friendship. And the reason, in most cases, we think relationships end because someone was rude or someone did this. But in most cases, relationships end because we no longer growing together.
Yeah.
Now, growing together does not necessarily mean we grow in the same way or we grow in the same things, but it's so necessary.
I like the fact that she clarified that because sometimes, one person may be going in one direction, growing, and the other is not, but dropping the ball and saying because you're not growing at the pace that I'm growing or growing in the same direction that I'm growing can cause some friction. But in a true relationship, I believe if you're growing and your partner is not growing, the right thing to do is to have that patience to find a way to bring them along. Because at the end of the day, if you're one, if one falls, both fall. It's not just thinking from that I mentality. We have to think from a we mentality. If she falls, we're both down. It's not you fall, you falling, that's on you. No, we can't think that way. So just a little bit in that, I just want to clarify what I believe. We don't want to put that pressure on the other person because we go in a certain direction, and it could come across in any form. It could be maybe you're doing better in your job, you have more drive naturally, and maybe they really don't. But always go back to what brought you guys together in the first place. We don't want to ignore that now that we're together, and trying to find every excuse to put the other person down, or finding every excuse to be out, to go, because that seems to be the pattern this day and age. Everyone looking for that slightest reason to capitalize on and to justify their exit. Whereas in a true relationship, that's part of what makes it so beautiful and long lasting. I did a video not too long ago, a few days ago or so, from Love Lessons. It's couples married 51 years, 54 years, 25 years. So powerful. You can go back and look at it too, and I'll drop the link somewhere in this video as well. We don't typically have those types of relationships anymore, and one of the reasons is the very first reason they stated, Mpoomy and Brenden: selfishness. We cannot be selfish. You got to be selfless. We got to think of our spouses, put them first before. If every spouse will put their spouse before themselves, I think it would be such a better managed and so much better relationship. I remember my mom, rest in peace, Mom. She passed away a few years ago. Always used to say, the best way to have joy in the relationship is to use joy as an acronym, where you have Jesus first, the other person next or second, and yourself last. So if you want to have joy, you have to have God first, you have the other person next, and then you put yourself last. Doesn't mean you trample on yourself. No, just means you're thinking of the other person ahead of yourself. If the husband thinks of the husband ahead of himself, and the wife thinks of the husband ahead of herself, we have a beautiful winner. Not always easy, but it's doable. It's doable. Doable. Let's see what else they talked about.
Necessary in relationships for all of us to continue growing. Because if I'm growing and you're not growing, then there's a gap, there's a problem, or the other way around. So what you're saying about the gifting is that the reason why we can keep up satisfying each other's needs is because we all continually growing. And while we're continually growing, you're aware of the other person's growth.
Yes, that was a beautiful piece. I like it. I'm going to watch it again and listen even that much more intently. But hey, please drop your comments below. I'd like to know what you think. That was a nice piece by Mpoomy and Brenden. If I'm saying their name incorrectly, please correct me. I am open to corrections. I am teachable. Thanks for stopping by. So good to see you. If this is your first time, welcome. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll be coming back with more pieces. I'll be looking forward to seeing you soon again. Thanks again. You know how we like to close it out on this channel. We like to remind ourselves. We remember, we got one life with many seasons. God bless you, and I'll see you soon. You take care now. Bye-bye.